How's it going, YouTube? How's it going, Man United fans? Welcome back for another stream. It's been a few days since I did one. Didn't manage to watch the game yesterday, sort of privately. Yesterday, Saturday, God, my days, I'm all over the place. Yeah, Saturday, managed to watch the game sort of privately. Didn't do a watch along on Saturday afternoon. Just watched it at sort of home and took it in the Norwich game. So I'm just going to touch upon a few things really. So we're going to quickly just talk about the Norwich game. Talk a bit about that, reaction to that, and how everyone's sort of feeling on that front. And then I think we'll go into the farce that's been the Champions League draw today, and obviously Atletico Madrid in terms of the fact that we've now got them in the Champions League on the 15th of March, quite a way off. Obviously Atletico Madrid, big side, probably one of the favourites to go on and do something in the Champions League, and haven't done much this season, so we'll talk a bit about that. Talk about the game, the formation, have a quick look into that. Pretty standard formation, I would have thought, for the game on game tomorrow against Brentford. And then a few just kind of players that we'll quickly discuss in terms of injuries and absences and all that kind of stuff, really. So, yeah, I mean, first of all, just in the Norwich game, what an awful game. Really expecting to come away with the game 2 or 3 goals, take a clean sheet. We did take a clean sheet, but it didn't come without the expensive David De Gea having to save everything, potentially going to go in his goal. So, yeah, it's just ridiculous again. It's poor performance, not controlling the game. That was a big thing, the big issue that Rangnick had said needed to resolve, was the control of the game. We're still not doing that. We're still very, very, very poor in regards to that, and it was just dreadful on Saturday. No one in particular really. Even up to Ronaldo, a couple of chances where Ronaldo went through on one chance. You're just thinking that this typical Ronaldo goal goes through slightly to one side, smashes it with his right across goal, and didn't pull a trigger, come back on his left, and he was just awful. His touch was awful. Didn't really seem like he was in the game at all. We're still not created enough chances, and we just look vulnerable at the back, panicking in our zone, in our third, not able to control that game, get the ball under control, and have confidence in our own ability to deal with the situation in our own third. It's scarily getting a little bit now. I won't say it's getting any worse. It's just not getting any better. Rangnick's got a lot to do. I think if any of us expect that Rangnick's going to turn this around before Christmas or even before the end of the year, I think you're a little bit deluded. I think it's a massive task he's got on his hands to try and get a system working with a huge void in quality from back to front. We've got massive quality in our attacking players, but a huge void from everything below that, especially in midfield. And to expect that Rangnick's going to turn that around in the blink of an eye is you're deluded. So a lot to work on. The benefit he's got is that the fixtures coming up are favourable. After this game, I think it's then Brighton. Following that, I think he's got Newcastle. Newcastle's coming up at some stage, I know. So the games are pretty favourable with the Wolves in there, but Brentford are not an easy side this season. They've got that momentum. They're on that wave that like Leeds were last season, albeit we've done very, very well against Leeds. A lot of teams didn't, and Brentford on a bit of a bit of momentum and a bit of a they're enthusiastic at this moment in time because they're in the Premier League and it's great. So I think it's going to be a struggle, and I think if we don't command and dictate the game, we could get beat. We could really get beat. I think out of the list of the fixtures that I was looking at over the last 10 fixtures that take us up to the, sort of the beginning of the new year, there are in our favour, and you could quite easily see, 10 wins out of 10 if there's another 10 fixtures till the new year. From when I said it, and but at the minute you just can't see that happening. I really just worry that we're going to see a defeat, a sloppy defeat where it'll be a stupid mistake. We're chasing the ball. It's every man trying to win a 50-50. It's scrappy, and it's just dragging ourselves down to a poor level, and not very encouraged at the minute with United. I wasn't very encouraged with it. I went to watch the Crystal Palace game a week or so ago, week on Sunday, and there's a lot of people coming away from that saying, "Oh, United played better. Rangnick got us playing. The pressing was better. The general control of the game was better." It was in that game for spells. There were spells where it was flat, and I said, and I commented, and I got a few people respond to it on YouTube from I think it was a Sky Sports highlights video. Was that it was more a lack of quality from United. Sorry, more of a lack of quality from Palace than an overwhelming amount of quality from United. I really felt like they were the ones that really didn't bring the game to us, and so it played into our hands. But as we've seen so many times this season, that when you bring the game to us as a team, we just fold. We don't like the fight. We struggle to match up to that, and it was evident against Norwich. And Norwich, to be fair, deserved something out of that game. The penalty was, let's be honest, it was soft, very, very soft, and quite embarrassing, really, that a team that are going for, that were second in the Premier League last season, and arguably at the start of this season, everyone thought we were going to be there or thereabouts in challenging, and not able to get over the line in open play against the bottom of the league, and have been quite obviously the worst team in the league for most parts of the season so far, and it was just dreadful, really, really poor, and it's not getting any better. We seem to just do enough at the moment. We don't seem to be just playing our game. We seem to be doing enough against the teams that are in front of us. We did enough against Villarreal. We did enough against Atalanta away in Europe and at home. We did enough against. It's probably Spurs was only the one we've been convincing. But there's been other games, haven't there? There's been, the West Ham game. We did enough. We did enough against Palace the other week. We've just done enough again against Norwich. It's not good enough, and we need to be doing better than just enough. We need to be, really dictating the play, putting the pressure on, mounting the pressure on these teams, especially these teams near the middle to bottom half of the table. These need to be confidence builders for us as a club and for a team, not teams to be struggling, scraping a 1-0 win in the last 10, 15 from a penalty. It's just, it adds to the meme, doesn't it? And then it's just embarrassing, to be quite honest. So hopefully, we'll kick on. The beauty of I think Rangnick's style and Rangnick's temperament is that he'll see that and he'll not bottle that up, like Ollie, bless him, would have made been bigging that result up and bigging up the players and protecting them and saying, we deserved something out of the game and we were good in patches and it was poor. It was bloody poor and bloody awful, and it needs to change. To accept a 1-0 win against a Norwich side who dominated large portions of the game themselves, who could have got a goal or two themselves, and we're winning on a penalty that was soft. It's just embarrassing, and I think we all were probably embarrassed from that as fans as well. So yeah, something to think about in the Norwich game, but I think something we need to quickly move on from as well. I don't think what's happening at the minute, which is another thing I wanted to bring up, was the COVID-related stuff. The whole thing is just driving me insane now. I think it's driving a lot of people mad. There's other people I think, I won't say relish it, but I seem to absorb it a little bit more, the processes and procedures that they're having to follow a little bit more than others. And, you know, I'm not one of them. It's starting to grind on me now a little bit. And obviously now with this talk that the game could actually be called off against Brentford tomorrow if there's a spate of further COVID positive tests. So, yeah, that's something that we'll have to wait and see on. Carrick, I think, has been closed today because of those issues. So that's another day of training lost through COVID. So, yeah, just that situation in terms of COVID doesn't seem to be getting any better anytime soon. You know, there's now reports of the Omicron variant spreading more quickly than any other variant they've seen, which is irrelevant news. People don't really need to hear that, do they? They just need to be following the measures that you're putting out there, not to hear that something is more passable than another virus. Just, you know, as long as they're doing the same measures, then that shouldn't really be a problem. Yeah, it's been spoken about just to get everybody worked up even further just before Christmas. So, yeah, frustrating really, to the point in which I think there's now talks of people needing passes and this, that and the other to go in stadiums, which I really hope doesn't come to fruition, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that's where we're at with the COVID situation, and you know, we could be sat here not having a game at this time tomorrow, but hopefully that's not the case. I will do a watch along tomorrow. If anybody does manage to catch it, I'll share it on the link on Twitter. Yeah, which I haven't done for this one actually, which I need to do. So I'm just going to share that link on Twitter, and then we'll get cracking with the formation for tomorrow's game, which I think is going to be pretty standard. I think everyone's going to expect that it's going to be, you know, pretty much the same as it's been for weeks. I think Rangnick realises that he's not going to be able to change much until January comes past. Obviously, talks now of De Jong coming in. And, you know, he desperately needs a midfield, and I think he knows that. I'm just going to add this in here. Right, there we go. So yeah, let's have a look. So just before we quickly do that, I wanted to just mention about obviously Atletico Madrid, the draw in the Champions League, the farce that is the draw, which was, you know, something that isn't that difficult to work out, is it? You know, you got first and second of each group. You need to make sure that there's one set in one pile and another set in another pile. Teams from the same country apparently at that stage can't play each other, and you've got to make sure that you know that they're not playing in the same group. So if, for example, what happened in the group stage, or what happened in the draw, was that Villarreal got picked up against United, and obviously they were already in the same group with each other, so that couldn't happen. So there's a couple of little rules, but I mean, it's surely not an automated system these days, and it's just a case of making sure that you've put the right balls in the right bowls and take it from there, really. So, bit embarrassing. Personally thought it was a little fixed initially when I saw the PSG Man United draw. I think there was a lot of Messi, Ronaldo written all over it for me, and I'm sort of glad really that we haven't got PSG, not because I'm scared of playing PSG, but because we've played them, we've done it. We want to see somebody else. We want, you know, another avenue really. But yeah, definitely. So comments on is it the match that we played again? What do you mean? What do you mean by that, mate? Is it the match that we played again? The Brentford match? Has it been called off? Don't think so. But yeah, so the Atletico Madrid, just look at them in the table at the minute. If we just pull up sort of where they're at, if I just move to one side a second, the other way, there we go. So yeah, if we just look at the table there, just drag that out of the way. go. Yeah, so obviously lost their derby on the weekend, Atletico Madrid, which anybody could do. I mean, Madrid at the minute are on this amazing wave, this amazing crest of a wave that they've hit, and Benzema seems to be flying high with the goals that he's scoring again. He seems to be on some unbelievable form as well. So yeah, incredible from him. But yeah, Atletico Madrid, they're not obviously. I think they're in a little bit better form than we possibly are. I don't think it's something that it's going to be an easy sort of game. But I think if you're going to hit Atletico Madrid at any given stage, this is probably the right stage to do it. Now, there's obviously a massive there's a massive sort of void between the games getting drawn and the games being played, and we don't play it till I think it's the 15th of March or something like that. So there's a lot of time for Atletico to sort things out, go through January as well and get it figured out. And they're a team and they've got a coach who's going to do that, and Simeone. So I think from a United point of view, we've got the same situation. We're on a team. We're a team hopefully on the up. We've got a lot of talent within the team. I think there's an opportunity for us to kick on as well and show what we're about, and to improve over the next sort of 4 to 6 months. So not a big scary fixture really. I think one that I think we're more than capable of dealing with, and I think once again we need to be competent with teams like this and be confident against beating teams like this. Really, Atletico Madrid are a team that we should be beating. It's a team that we should be comfortable against and confident against. There's not a lot of teams in that last 16 that are a foregone conclusion, other than I think it was Lille that have really dropped off the pace since last season after winning the league there in France. So I think other than them, what Chelsea have, spawny Chelsea have managed to get them, drawn them twice, both in the first draw and the second draw afterwards today. But it is what it is. You've still got to beat those teams, and they could turn up in the Champions League. We've had seasons. Chelsea themselves have had seasons where they've been poor in leagues, kicked on in the Champions League and done really, really well. So you never know. As I say, I think from a personal point of view, I don't think Atletico Madrid is a terribly difficult fixture anymore. They'll come with a bit of bite, and obviously there'll be a big challenge, and they've got some quality players. Suarez still potent. I'm sure, Griezmann's back there, so they've got some deadly players, and but so have we. So we've got to be confident, and I think we'll be fine. First fixture, I believe, is at Old Trafford. So it's get the foothold, get the the result, and then move, go over there hopefully with a 1 or 2-0 lead, but we'll see. So yeah, that's that. We'll move on to discuss the formation for tomorrow. Let's bring that up. So no surprises really, I suppose. It's just the same old. And it's to be fair, it's quite difficult to guess it at this moment in time, because you just don't know where Rangnick's head's at with the team. I mean, my doubts really, I sat with Rashford. I think Rashford's a bit of a concern. I really do feel like he's not been on form. He has been poor of late, but I don't see any other alternatives there. He either goes with very inexperienced players and he gives people a chance, like a Langer or an Ahmad or somebody along those lines. I think Martial at the minute is a major doubt, and I think mentally he's a major doubt anyway. I think his heart's not in it, and I think he wants out of Old Trafford anyway, and in his transfer request the other day. So his heart's set on leaving, and he's given us what's it been, probably 6, 7, maybe more years of his career. I might be wrong with those numbers, and I apologise if I am, but I think we're not going to get any more out of Martial now, and it's sad really that that's the case. But he's saying he's injured now, and to be quite honest, I won't be surprised if he's just keeping himself fit, ready for an exit, and trying to not get injured, and probably doesn't want to play, which is not right. You should always want to play for Man United. You should always want to play as a footballer anyway, regardless of the team that you're playing for, even if you don't see eye to eye. But players do that now, player power and everything else like that. It tends to happen, doesn't it, where players will down tools and not play, and I think Martial is in that boat where he's claiming he's got a fairly major knee injury, and that means he can't play this weekend, which is a bit sad, but it is what it is. So I just from the back. So we start with the keeper. I think it picks itself really, doesn't it? With David De Gea has been unreal this season, and it kicks on again against Norwich, and some unbelievable saves. That one from Poch where he's tipping it over the bar. It's just ridiculous sort of goalkeeping this season from David De Gea. To me, there's not another keeper in this league from a shot stopping point of view that even comes close to what he's doing on a consistent basis. It borders on the unbelievable at times, and you can see that with the reaction of some of the managers and players that witness what he's doing. It's just ridiculous, and so it picks itself. David De Gea in goal, and he deserves it. Obviously, hats off to Henderson. Got a few minutes midweek against young boys, but he's not on the same level as De Gea, and I think he knows that. And obviously he wants out as well, which is sad to see. But I think it's the time sort of come for him as well. Shaw's back, apparently training, and he's back fit despite his concussion and everything else. So I think we will see Shaw on tomorrow. I don't think we'll see Shaw. I don't think we'll see Tellers. I do think he does like Shaw, and I think we will see Shaw. I think Bailly will come in for Lindelof. There was some talk about Lindelof finding it struggling to breathe. There were some issues with his breathing or something along those lines. There's been a lot of that going on recently, which is concerning. There was the one with Sergio Aguero. I saw that at Barcelona. Obviously, we had the Eriksen issue, a terrible incident with Eriksen in the Euros, which was awful to see. There's been other players, before as well, and not good at all. Not really concerning. It sort of goes beyond football as well when players have those sort of issues, and makes you think about how much we do push these players these days to perform at that level. So that's concerning. Obviously, wishing him all the best, really, because nobody wants to see anybody get have to go off because they're struggling to breathe and everything else like that. That's awful news. So unfortunately, Lindelof, I don't think will play tomorrow, but I do think Bailly will come in, which is good for Bailly in one sense, and I do think he's sort of deserved a chance and an opportunity. So we'll see, but whether he'll perform, and I think he's got a great opportunity to make his mark and put his foothold in the team for a number of weeks, depending on how this Lindelof situation transpires. So that's good. Obviously, we'll see Maguire. He's been fairly solid over the last 3 or 4 weeks, despite a lot of criticism. So I think he's getting some sort of form back. He's not been helped by that midfield at the minute in front of him, and that's usually what's adding to the woes and the problems that we're all seeing. But he's the first one to get the criticism, really. But Maguire's in there. He's been playing well lately, and I think he's getting some sort of level of form back. Dalot is for me going to be starting. I've had some comments today on the United website that Wan-Bissaka should be fit for the game, but I just don't think he will start. If there's any sort of doubt with these players these days, they won't start if they've got a valid backup option, especially with a club of United size. If you maybe a lower league club, or even a club in the Premier League that's sort of near the bottom half of the table that hasn't got the resources that a United's got, you might play a player who's 75-80% fit. United don't need to do that, and Dalot deserves his place and deserves to be playing anyway. So for me, I don't think we'll see Wan-Bissaka start on tomorrow. I keep wanting to say on the weekend tomorrow. So that's good. Midfield was free. I think we're going to see Fred and McTominay. I can't see a Van der Beek upsetting the apple cart here. Maybe we will. Maybe we will see a Van der Beek. I personally can't see that. as much as I would love to see it, I can't see that he's going to do that. I think Bruno's been up and down. I've been saying it for weeks. I think Bruno's off form. I think what Bruno needs is some challenge to his game and some incentive to try and get that form back. And the only way I think Bruno will do that is if he's pressured to basically, work for his place. I don't think that'll happen though. I think we'll see Bruno in there. It could shock us. Play Van der Beek. I can't say it. I can't see it. I think we'll be Fred McTominay and Bruno sitting in just in that sort of more attacking midfield role. Sancho on the right. I think it's got to happen. I don't think Sancho's done much wrong. I think he's not really been supported by some of the other players in the team. And there's a lot of expectation on his shoulders. I think it was quite a similar sort of scenario that we had with Depay when he came to United. A massive expectation. We'd gone from this team where it was an aging team. We lost a lot of players. We were looking for some inspiration, and we put that on Depay to try and give us that. And the kid was, in his early 20s when he first came. It's too much, too soon from a kid who'd been playing at a club. He'd not grown up in a big club. He'd been at, was it PSV or Ajax before he came to United? It was a big ask for a player that at that age, and we're sort of similar. It's similar to what we're doing with Sancho at the minute. Sancho doesn't deserve all this criticism and all this pressure on his shoulders. When Rooney and Ronaldo were coming into the team as young 18, 19, 20-year-old players, they had vast experience around them that took that pressure off them. The other players that were still levelling up to that expectation, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Forlan was there. Players like that who were coming in and setting the precedent. And Rooney and Ronaldo weren't always expected to be at their best every minute of the game, and that's the expectation now that we're that United and United fans as well. But United as a club are putting this on these sort of players. We're buying these players for 80 million and expecting the ready-made stars. They're not. Sancho's not, and that's the market pulling the wool over many people's eyes, because we assume that when we're paying that level of money, we're getting a player who's the business. It doesn't work like that. It never has worked like that. It never did work like that. And these players still need time to mature into a team. And you can lose that. We lost it with a lot of players who've come to United where the feeling around the club and that sort of expectation has just killed a lot of good talent that we've had in the team. And it's never matured. Depay again, I say that Di Maria was an awful example, really. I don't think anybody really liked the guy and went under a bit of a cloud. We've done it with Martial, really. Never really got to those levels that we all expected him to get to. And it's just, the list could go on. I'm sure we could generate a list of frustrating talent that we've had, and it's never really got to those heights. Rashford's in that bracket now. Rashford's getting into that bracket. We saw it with Danny Welbeck when he started at United. This prospect who was playing week in, week out. A lot of us got frustrated with him to the point which he moved on eventually. But Rashford's in that same bracket as Danny Welbeck, really, where we're seeing this kid who's had all this talent, has performed at a good level, but needs to be going up another level and consistently performing. And unfortunately, he's just way off at the minute, both in work rate and in end product. And it's a surprise. It's a shock. It's considering where he was at. And there's a lot of people saying it's distraction. He's distracted. He's not concentrating on his football. That's crap. These players have still got to have a life. As fans, we're passionate about the game and we're passionate about us teams, and we want, but we don't concentrate about work every minute of the day. We've got other things that we do, and that's not, the extra stuff that he's doing in the community and all that kind of stuff is brilliant, and it's not distracting him from football. It's difficult to put your finger on it, and it could just purely come down to the fact that perhaps he's not at the level or at that quality that we thought he was at. That pundits thought he was at, that United thought he was at, or think he's at. That could just be the answer to the question, that he's just not good enough. When you compare him to sort of fringe players that we had in 2008, when Nani came in, Nani thought like it wasn't always. Eventually, it was the first name on the sheet, but he initially was a fringe player. And when you look at that level of quality on the fringe, that is ridiculous. You look at him in comparison to Rashford, the poles apart. Nani was far more consistent than Rashford in his in his spell at United. So it's difficult to say. Personally, I think we're not creating enough, and especially again the Ronaldo thing. Ronaldo was poor on the weekend. Now I've not sort of like watched the game back. Anybody who has watched that game back, he must be a Norwich fan, because other than that, it was dreadful to have to watch again and put yourself through that pain. But I haven't watched it back, and for me, we're still not playing to Sancho and whoever is on that left, if it is Rashford, but with the view of crossing balls into that box and giving Ronaldo every opportunity to get us ahead. We're not playing to that strength. We just don't seem to know what we're doing when we're going forward. And we get into that final third. It's a real struggle to get it from zones 1 and 2 into 3, which is the final third. So, the first 2 thirds into that final one, we don't seem to know how to transition it from those 2 areas. And then when it's in that final third and in that final zone, how we transfer that into developing a chance, we've got no ideas. It's just panic, like, oh, we've got the ball, just keep it, let's just switch it left and right. Then opportunities to cross, not taking them, or taking them too late, and just poor, really, overall. And hopefully, like I say, Rangnick's working on that. He's got a massive task on his hands. And what I've liked about Rangnick is his honesty. He's come out and said things about players who are doubtful, like Pogba. Come out and just flatly basically said, look, if the guy doesn't want to play for Man United, he knows where the door is. Just leave. I want him here. It'd be nice to lovely to have him here, but it's a big club and he's going to want to play here. He's been honest the whole way through. He's been under no illusions that it's a mammoth task that he's got in front of him, a huge task. And fair play to the guy, because he's every time he deals with the media, he's dealing with them with a straight bat and giving fairly honest answers. And I genuinely think he's got enough about him to give us the best opportunity that we can to turn this around. We're masking problems at the minute. Luckily enough, we've got through some of the toughest games that we'll face this season. Took some beatings, and now we've got a run of games that is going to give us hopefully all a bit of confidence, not only the players but the fans and everybody. But it's going to mask the problem that we're still facing, that we haven't got a midfield that can control a game, both when you're trying to hunt down a goal or when you're trying to steady a game down because you're in front. We haven't yet got that midfield, and then equally haven't got that defence, that back 4, that back 3, whatever it is, to compensate and complement that midfield, and vice versa in transition. The front 3 should really be doing it. That to me, like any striker, any forwards, it comes down to confidence. And when you get end product and you're getting goals and you're getting results, that confidence then escalates and the performances and the consistency gets better. But yeah, I don't know. At the minute, it's just the Norwich game was a concern. Palace was another sort of mask. It was another concern. There was a lot of positive feeling from fans and everyone else. I didn't feel it. I really felt flat in parts of that game. I was there at Old Trafford. It just went quiet for 10 minutes. Literally, you could have had a pin drop. It was ridiculous. Maybe on TV it looked a lot better, but there's still concerning patches in the game. And I think what it is from a United point of view, we don't look deadly. We don't look as if we're suddenly going to spring out and just put constant pressure on teams. You see that from Liverpool now. It's like they've stolen our DNA with that. That constant pressure where you feel like, if we keep doing this, we're going to score. I think the only time we've done that this season is that Atalanta game when we were 2-0 down. Where we've come out and we went, with the fans behind us, we're going to probe, and you felt like, it's going to come, we're going to win this game. And we did. That's the only time we've done it. But this is where Rangnick was on about, and this is the problem that we've had for a long time beyond this season and a little bit beyond last, about controlling the game. Rangnick said it himself. We don't want to see. Great for the fans that you've come back from a 2-0 deficit, or you've come back from a 1-0 deficit and you've won the game in the last 10 minutes or the last couple of minutes. Great, and Ronaldo does a Sue celebration or a knee, but we don't want to. Yeah, we want to see him score. We want to see him score 2 or 3, but we don't want to see him doing it when we're conceding constantly. As he said, the big priority was trying to get clean sheets, trying to make Old Trafford a fortress and make it tight at our ground, but doing that by controlling the game, having the ball and controlling the game and taking the game to them, make it difficult for them to get it off us and putting the pressure on them to defend. I just don't think we have that cutthroat deadliness about us that through the team, through the DNA and the veins and the spine of the team, it doesn't give off that impression when you watch it. We look too timid. We're not potent enough in that regard. We're not deadly enough, and that's what needs to change. But as I say, another opportunity to get 3 points, close some of the gaps that we've seen open up. West Ham have got some difficult games coming up, so we've got an opportunity with them. Chelsea are off form, so chance to close that gap. That gap's about 10 points or something daft still at the minute, from from 6th to the 3rd or 5th to 3rd. So ridiculous, yeah. But overall, optimistic about the game tomorrow. I do feel like it'll be tight. I do feel like it's going to be 1 goal either way. I really do hope United get some control of the game and take it to them, and we win it by a couple, but I genuinely don't think that's going to be the case. I've been sort of estimating we're going to do that over the last fortnight in games and just end up really struggling in performances, so I'm not in the mood to suggest that we're going to do that. I think realistically we're probably going to see another 1-0 win either way, and I do hope, I'll predict it's going to be for United, but I genuinely at this moment in time I've got no confidence that we've got the ability to do that. I really don't at this moment in time, unless he changes something up drastically. I think Van der Beek does deserve a start from what he did at Young Boys. I felt like he was class. Obviously, he gave the ball away for a goal, but it was, he was a vast experienced player playing with players who were playing some of the first games for United, if not, definitely the first games in Europe. It was a big difference in quality between him and some of the rest of them, and hopefully he gets something out of the game, gives him some minutes. I think he will, but I can't see him sort of playing Bruno, Fred and Van der Beek in there, but maybe he will. I think he should. I don't think it'll be. I think Van der Beek's shown that he's got some good number 6 defensive qualities, but I don't know. I can't see that he's going to make too many risks, but hopefully this team sheet is wrong and we do see Van der Beek playing there instead of McTominay. I don't think McTominay's been anywhere near good enough of late either, and hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised and I'm wrong in some of the names I've featured, namely McTominay and Rashford hopefully, but we'll see. Let's go back to that. Yeah, so thanks for the few that have watched. Got quite a few people watching, so thank you. A couple of likes, I appreciate that a lot. It's been a few days since I've done a stream, so you forget how much you miss doing it, despite the fact that it's a little bit of hard work and sometimes nobody's watching. But I appreciate if you do watch back as well after this playback. So yeah, I appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe and hit a like if you do watch. It does help and puts it out there so that I can talk to more like-minded United fans and we can get some more chats and stuff. Still waiting to fill the comments in there so we can have a bit of a chat back and forth, which I'd like to do. I'd do some longer streams if that was the case. I got a bit of feedback, so yeah, please, if you are watching this, bear that in mind and catch me every other night. I'll usually share it on Twitter if you're unaware of the days I do it. Try and do it every day, but obviously with the Christmas break coming up, the games are so sporadically placed. It's difficult to know when to best do it, but I do it pretty much every night. around about 8:30 UK time, Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, if you do catch it, then jump on, drop me a message. I'll try and respond on here, answer your question, or chat away with you. I'll respond on chat. But like I say, thank you for watching. If you have watched, hit the like. If you do like what I'm doing, if you've got any feedback, please drop me some of that as well. But other than that, thanks guys. Appreciate your time. Catch you in the next one.